Hi everybody, welcome back. As you can see, we're not doing a regular gaming video or a geography video, but we are doing something related to geography. We're doing flags. We're doing flags of the world. But I don't want to just sit here blindly well, I don't want you guys to just sit here listening to me talk about flags. Well, I want you to sit here listening to me talk about flags, but I don't want you just sitting here clicking on flags. I want to talk about why I like flags and what I think makes a good flag. First of all, I like flags. I've always liked flags. They are interesting and they say a lot about the country they represent. And I feel like there's such a science that goes into the creation of different flags and kind of overlooked sometimes. But what do I think makes a good flag? A lot of my opinions on these have been around for a while. They really got locked in and confirmed when I watched a video by a YouTuber called Alternate History Hub. You guys have probably all watched him. I have to explain who he is, but I recommend you watch him if you don't know who he is. Alright, sometimes I find it hard to find it. Oh, there's. Um, he talked about what makes what is a flag and why do these flags look good, why do some not. But I want to talk about what I think makes a good flag. So one of the things that is a no-go and most people agree on is that you don't put wording on a flag, right? You don't put wording on it. And if you do, there are some situations where it's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, oh here. And there is there's a ton of different types of flags. The wording should most of the time not go on it. But it can. I don't I've seen spots where I do like it, but not many. What else? Well, simplicity of colors. Having a ton of different colors can be pretty, but it's also very overstimulating. Your flag should be simple, but it should say a lot about what, or it should be immediately recognized. That's something you really want. Immediate recognizability. Be able to stand out from a crowd, especially like you're waving in front of you and you want to be like, oh, that's this country, right? Oh, Zimbabwe. So, what flags do I think do this well? Well, obviously the popular countries are good; their flags can be automatically recognizable, but the American flag, and I'm not just saying this as an American. I am, and I don't know. The flag could be better, but it's definitely recognizable. The red, white, and blue is very common color. I think it's the most common color combination in all the flags, but that's neither here nor there. But it's also recognizable. The stripes, easy to see. Is Liberia on this? If Liberia was on here, I'd compare it, but obviously the 50 stars set it apart. And three colors, very simple, very easy on the eyes, and very easy to draw and remember. That's also another thing. Sometimes overcomplicated flags. Like, this is Montenegro, I believe. It's very recognizable. It's a very recognizable flag. The double-headed eagle. I like the double-headed eagle. But it's also, you can't really draw it. You can't sit down, color it, and leave. You can do that with Bulgaria. Well, okay, Bulgaria and Germany, and that's cheating. It's tricolors. It's cutting a paper up into three equal-sized bits. But it is definitely recognizable, especially more popular countries like Germany. Very recognizable colors. Or, like, this is Bulgaria. Wait. This is Hungary, and this is Bulgaria. Can you see kind of the way that's starting out? What? Where am I looking for? Cameroon. I don't know where. Yes, thank you. Moving on. You can kind of see the pitfalls of a very simple tricolor. Not that tricolors are bad. France, Germany, um, the Netherlands is kind of a bad example, but it's definitely there. Russia is there as well. It can be done well. It's just it doesn't stand out. And a lot of European countries did this mostly during their nationalist movements, or or after the overthrow of of a monarchy or the transition to monarchy, constitutional monarchy. And it's not bad. Tricolor was popularized by the French when Napoleon did his little steamroll through the entirety of Europe. It's not bad, and it's definitely not the worst that could be done. But there are also ones there are still better ones. Let's take, it is a tricolor, but it has a different design, the Nordic Cross. Now the Nordic Cross is simple. It's two, I mean Norway's is a little more complicated because it has the second color in the cross itself. But a rectangle, two squares, and a rectangle. Very simple flag design. And something that you can easily draw, but it's also instantly recognizable. Some people find it hard to differentiate the different Scandinavian countries from each other due to this Nordic cross. I don't, but I spend a lot of time thinking about geography and flags, so I guess that's not completely fair. Oh, also, Ireland and Ivory Coast. That's see, not great. But the Nordic Cross is very recognizable, and you immediately think, oh, well, that's up there. Sometimes people don't get exactly what country it is, but they know the exact area, and that's kind of recognizable. There's also a kind of congruity of regions' flags. The Europeans are very tricolor. If Poland's not a tricolor, Montenegro isn't. Greece is bicolor. But a lot of them are tricolors, and that's just due to their history. A lot of Asian countries. Well, South Korea's got it more not religious, like cultural symbols. A lot of cultural symbols flags. Let me find Thailand quick so I can keep. Sometimes I get stumped on a flag because I can't find it. I know what it looks like, but I just I wish I could skip them sometime. There. But there's usually, and especially with China, Vietnam, not Cambodia as much, but it does have some of the leftovers. It has some of those communist adjacent flag designs, more akin to the Soviet flag with hammer and circle in the corner. And as you get down into India and Pakistan, especially towards like Turkey, Pakistan, those areas, there's a lot of Islam iconography. The words like the crescent moon on Tunisia's flag is Algeria, Turkey, not Egypt. Egypt doesn't have it, but you can really see the cultural influence, and especially into Africa, like proper, and then down into the south of it. There's a lot of more tricolors because it had a lot of European influence. I'm struggling with Paraguay. Why? I'm sorry. Which one of you is Paraguay? Why am I struggling with this? This is a very country. Where are you? That is Argentina. There you are. There we go. But there's a lot of African countries took the tricolor from Europeans. I mean, Ethiopia is an example against this. They did take a tricolor, but they also put that really neat design in the middle. And I like this flag. It's not too over complicated that you can't draw it, but it's also not like you can pick this one out. Chile's, I always get confused with Texas. Serbia's, the crest makes it a little hard to draw, but you can definitely tell it apart. And that's what I think matters the most. I hate boring flags. I hate flags that don't stand out and blend together with other flags. Examples: the United States state flags. Now you're probably thinking like your mind immediately goes to probably Massachusetts because that's the most popular and one of the best flags. That is my favorite United States. Mississippi's new one The one with the lotus, I do really like now. But that's neither here nor there. But the thing about United States state flags is that they're so samey. A lot of the flags are blue background with usually the state seal on the front of it or something else. So something else that embodies the state, but it's so depressing, I guess is probably the word to use. It's not fun. You look at it across, it's from Kansas, Idaho, South Dakota, um, North Dakota, Minnesota. It's just all of those. And there's so many of them, and it's so bland. So when you get the ones like New Mexico, Arizona, even California, for as poor as many cool ideas for California there could have been, it's still recognizable. You can still pick it out in a crowd. And that's I hate I hate a lot of United States state flags because they're just very poor. I should actually make a tier list. That is something I should do. I'll make a tier list of the different flags. It'll just be a lot of like F because they suck. But I'm still gonna make it because I think that would be a fun time, especially when we get to the cool ones because break. But the main thing I want to get across is that I like flags. And here's the thing: you don't have to have my same taste in flags. You could think wording and the more base and the state seals and stuff is fine. And there's just tons of stuff out there for you. It's just not my taste. I like very recognizable flags. I like flags when I look at them, I know exactly what it is. The UK flag, sometimes it's a little confusing because the Australian and New Zealand, all of them have that in there of it anyways. But I like flags that I know what it is. Uganda. You know Uganda's. Sometimes the chicken is I don't what is that? I don't even know what bird that is. I apologize if that's not a chicken. I'm gonna call it a chicken. But like Hungary and Bulgaria. That's just kind of lazy. I know the colors have meanings, but it's just try to be different. There are not many times where you should go above and beyond on design. But flag design, I feel like you really should dig into your culture. Try to find something that is uniquely your country. Because nobody likes a boring flag. People like flags that make them think. Think of them, why is that there? What do the colors mean? Honestly, I couldn't tell you why some countries pick colors that they. And that's something I like learning about. Sometimes I look at a flag, I'm like, that's really interesting. What is the history behind this flag? But I never think about that for. Well, actually, I know the history behind the United States. I know why they're like that. And the reason is sound. Why am I like I'm looking? The reason is very. The reason is real. And actually, let me explain this while I'm finishing up, and then I'll let you guys on your way. Still here. Um, after the American Revolution, a lot of people saw them as citizens of the state you were born. You weren't an American, you were whatever state you were from. That was how people saw themselves. But that really changed. So, like, flags were really important because you were differentiating yourselves from the rest of them. That really changed after the Civil War because, well, being different from trying to set yourself apart was seen unpatriotic. Because, well, fighting Civil War can do that. And that makes sense. So a lot of new states and some old states had to change their flags or made their flags to be very samey, just kind of. Oh, what should our flag be? Okay, random blue, sometimes cyan or green, Washington, and just chuck it out there, put the state seal on. And it's like, okay, but I think that era is over now. I think people like having that individuality. Mississippi's flag was bad. It had the Confederate not stars and bars. Wait, no, that is the stars and bars. I was right. It had the old Confederate stars and bars, and that's terrible, right? I think we can all agree on that. But they remade their flag, and it is one of my favorite American flags now. It is up there with Maryland. It's so different and it's so unique, and you can immediately tell what it is, and it's such a beautiful flag. 91. Not bad. All right. Let me get my final thoughts out. Um, yeah, Mississippi's and the reasons are sound. I feel like that should change. I feel like we should go back to the drawing board. And obviously, this isn't the most important issue on the board. I feel like just for us flag lovers out there who really like looking at flags and studying them, go back to the drawing board, come up with a new flag design, and try it out. Just be different. Like Ohio. Ohio is using the most basic colors in the universe, but you immediately know it's Ohio because of their different flag shape. One, and two, their design is so different. All right, clear up the rest of my thoughts. I like flags. I hate overused flags and I bland flags. Make it interesting, make it cool. And if there's any like either old countries or country like either fictional or a redesign of a flag that you really like, let me know what it's called in the comment section down below, and I'll take a look at it. And I might throw in a section at the end where I might throw in a section during when I'm talking about state flags or country flags, where I talk about what flag designs I thought would be cooler for it. But that's I think I'm going to just call this series Severan Rants because I don't know what to call this other than like talking about flags. But other than that, thank you guys so much for listening to talk about flags for probably almost minutes, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.